Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, and it's time again for a TBR video. Woo! It's always fun talking about what I'm looking forward to reading soon, I guess. In May, I am participating in the Medieval-A-Thon, hosted by Holly at... I don't know what her channel name is, but Holly is hosting it. The Medieval-A-Thon is a month-long readathon. This year is taking place in May, so May 1st to 31st, and it's just kind of medieval themed. There's ranks. If you read a certain number, you're a particular rank, and there's a bunch of different prompts that they associate with various clothing and weapons and pets. I'm not going to go into all the rules and stipulations or whatever. I'll link her video down below. I'm not going to do all of the prompts, there's too many for that, but I just picked a few and I'm going to do them. So I'll just list off the prompt, list off the book, and yeah, you know the drill. It's a TBR. The first one is to read a pristine book. So just one that doesn't have any markings, not dented at all, that kind of thing. And the one I plan to read is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. The first book in the Stormlight Archives series. Very well loved on BookTube and not BookTube. And yeah, it doesn't have any markings as far as I can tell. So I think it is pretty pristine well enough. I don't know too much about this. Everyone's hyping it up, and hopefully I like it too. I'm also reading this for Merphy's Patreon Buddy Reads. I'll link to her channel as well. The next prompt is for a shiny book. For this prompt, I plan to read The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman, the second book in his Dark Material series. Technically, I haven't actually gotten to reading The Golden Compass yet for April, but there's still like over a week right now as of recording, so I will probably be able to read The Subtle Knife, but I could also read The Golden Compass if I don't get to it in April. But yeah, look, it's got shiny on the top there, and some shiny on the text, so this works. I haven't gotten to reading The Golden Compass yet, and it's been a long time since I read this series. I don't really remember what it's about, but it's definitely a more classic children's literature type thing, so I am excited to give this a reread. Next one is for Green on the Dust Jacket, and for this one, I'm going to be reading Sorcery by Terry Pratchett. Technically, I don't own a physical copy, but the Kindle version has Green right on the cover there, so I'm going to count it. Discworld is just really wacky fantasy, and I plan to get through not the whole series, but some of the books for my 2020 goals. This will be the next one on my docket. I think this one will be Rincewind again, who was the main character in the first two Discworld books, and I didn't really like him that much, but maybe he'll be okay in this one now that Pratchett's style has improved a little bit more since the first two, because those were a little bit rough, but again, I'll have to wait and see. Don't really remember the plot synopsis of it, and I don't really need to, honestly. It's Terry Pratchett, he's kind of wacky, and stuff's gonna happen, and yeah, I'm cool with that. Next one is for something pointy on the cover. And for this one, I plan to read The Dragon Reborn by Robert Jordan, the third book in the Wheel of Time series. And it's hard to tell because of the contrast between stuff, but there's a sword right there. You probably can't see that, maybe you can. Yeah, I just want to continue in the Wheel of Time series, and hopefully my May TBR isn't so crazy that I won't be able to finish this. I am reading The Way of Kings, and that's kind of boofy, and this isn't as long, so hopefully it'll be okay. It's kind of dense there. So I hope it gets a little better, since I was a little disappointed with the second book. I guess I forgot to say the first three books were for various clothings. The prompts were for various clothings, and the something pointy was for a sword. I forgot to mention that. So for a pair of daggers, the prompt is to start or finish a duology. And for that one, I have The Lost World by Michael Crichton, and this finishes off the Jurassic Park duology. For the first book in this duology, I knew basically what the plot was from the movie, and it was fairly close for the most part, other than it had more science and it was more cool. But I know much less about the Lost World, but I assume there's going to be dinosaurs and people are going to be eaten and it's going to be fun. So I'm really excited for this one. I'm also reading this for another one of Merphy's buddy reads. I think this one is for the free for everyone buddy read, and so I am excited to get to this and see what everybody else thinks as well. Next one to get a shield is a book that you have high expectations for, and that one I have two that could fit in here. I don't think it matters too much because I have high expectations for both of them, and they're both new releases that are coming out in May. And that will either be Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody Volume 11 by Hiro Ainana, or Network Effect by, Martha Wells? Is that who it's by? I think that's who it's by. Both of these will be the newest books in their respective series. Both of these series are pretty different. Death March is more easygoing, happy-go-lucky adventure fantasy type of thing, and Network Effect is in the Murderbot series, and I mean it is still pretty lighter in tone, but it is a sci-fi series, more action-y, but in a different way, more serious way, I suppose. But so far, I've really enjoyed both series, and I definitely am going to be reading both of those in May. Next one is to get a cat companion. I'd have to read a book that starts with the letter C, and I plan to read Castle in the Air by Diana Wayne Jones, the second book in the Howl's Moving Castle series. I have no idea what happens in this one. The first one, Howl's Moving Castle, is pretty lighthearted. Main character is trying to cure her curse that's on her that makes her look like an old lady, but I've never read this one, and this will be new to me, and I wanted to finish this series for my 2020 goals as well, so I'll finally be able to see what the heck this second book is about. I know it doesn't follow the main characters of the first one, but other than that, I don't really know anything about it. But it should be a good time, because so far, from what I've read of the author's works, it's been good, so maybe it won't be as good as Howl's Moving Castle, but I still expect it to be good. I'm excited. And the last prompt that I'll be doing is to get a fox companion to read a book with orange on the dust jacket. This one I plan to reread The Thief by Megan Waylon Turner. This is the first book in the Queen C series, and I've read this a while ago, but I didn't continue on to the series, and so I need to reread this to hopefully finish the series for my 2020 goals. Don't remember too much about it, but it's a little bit of a lower fantasy, and I think the main character is like this thiefy guy, and he's kind of forced to go on this adventure to find some MacGuffin he'd hidden somewhere. I remember really liking this, so hopefully on reread I like it. And yeah, there's definitely orange here. This space is pretty orange, and it's just overall browny and orange, so it's not a nice cover, but it fits for this prompt. Other than those books, there's two other books that I plan to read in May. The first one, it depends on whether I get to the series in April or not. I still have some time, but I haven't gotten to it yet. And that is Nisei Monogatari Part 2 by Nisei Oisin. I haven't read Part 1 quite yet in April, so this will either be Part 1 or Part 2, depending on if I have time or not in April. But yeah, it's just the next book in the Monogatari series, really strange, urban fantasy with these aberrations and stuff. I have no idea what happens in these two volumes. I think it's a different POV than the other 3 books that I've read in the series. Sorry, other 4 books I've read in the series. So yeah, I'm curious to see if I'll still like it moving forward. And the last book that I plan to read in May is The Crow by Alison Krogan, which is the 3rd book in the Book of Pelennor series. This is another reread for me, and it'll be the second last book in the Pelennor series. Haven't read the last one, so once I read this one, I can finally read that last one and finish the series for my 2020 goals. And yeah, this is another fantasy. If you can't tell, I really like fantasy. And it's a pretty slow moving pace type series with like a chosen one adventure, get some MacGuffin type of thing. So not particularly original, but I do like the characters in here and I like the world building. And so far it's been slow but enjoyable, so I hope maybe it picks up a little bit in this one, but as long as I enjoy it, it doesn't matter too much. So these, plus a few digital ones and ones that haven't arrived yet, are the books that I plan to read in May. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in taking part in the Medieval-A-Thon and what kind of equipment or companions you want to go for, because I'm certainly looking forward to participating. It was pretty enjoyable the last year that I participated, so it's nice to be able to do it again. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye! In their respective series, and Stupid Ambulance is a jerk, I'm getting close to being done, so it just depends on how many ambulances go by. So these are the books. No, I'm not gonna let these up anymore. They're too